Hi, this is Lee with learningwithlee.com. I've been playing with my calculator. I've gotten farther on it than I'm going to go over in the lesson today, but we'll just keep working on it. Play with the CSS a little. I put actual color numbers in instead of just saying yellow, blue, red. And I called this column, show you, let's see. So I put actual numbers in. The operators were just written there, but now, where are we? Here it is here. Operators. So that's, I made those into an actual flex column instead of just writing there because the spacing was off and it was bugging me. So I used display flex and flex direction column and put space between to make these nice so that'd be all lined up. Instead of just writing them on the page. So those are some things. If it looks a little different, that's what I was playing with. I changed, these colors are all like defined, except just gray and dark gray. I chose colors for them. Okay, so that's something you can do anytime. Remember, this is the inspect. That's what you click on to get that. And here is where you can see the CSS for any element on your page. Right, here's the thing called calculator. It's that whole section. Right, there's what's called screen. And you can, if you click on it, you can see what you have there. So if I took off that, what would happen? If I took that off, what would happen? And you can even change those numbers right here to play with it. Okay, that's a little review. Okay, so we left it where we wrote things, but then it didn't do anything. Right? So what does it need to do something? Now, the computer's smart. It knows the JavaScript, like it already knows how to add and subtract and multiply and divide. Like you can say number plus number and it knows what to do with that and how to give you, like it knows, if you tell it to add 1 plus 2, it knows how to give you 3. It can do the calculation, but what does it need to know? It needs to know what numbers to use and it needs to know what operator to use. These are the operators. A math term. So right now it doesn't know, it's not stored anywhere that we want to add 1 and 2 together. All I did was write it on the screen. So we need to come up with a way to say, hold on to these things that we're pushing. All right, now it's pretty easy with the operators because we already have all these click things already defined. So I went in and just wrote in there. Once we write on the screen, I want op, which it's my short for operator. You could type out operator. It's a variable. Right? Define the variable op as plus. Okay, so if we click on minus, then op's going to equal the minus sign. Okay? And then when we hit equals, we can just say, well, if op equals the minus sign, then subtract them. If op, the variable op for the operator, if op equals the multiplication sign, then we want to multiply together. So that is easy. I already have that written out. I'm just going to slip those in real easy there. Okay, now to get the number, I have went a little farther than we're going to go today. I'm going to get rid of this for now. Now what did I just do? I commented it out. This is a comment. Okay, we did that with the HTML. We can do this with CSS and we can do it with JavaScript. Okay, it's a slash and an asterisk and then it's the other way around, asterisk and slash to close it out. And you can, comment out, black out a whole bunch of code. Now if you're going to try something new, instead of deleting it, you can comment it out and then it's still there. If you need to go back to it, if you messed it all up, your old code is still there. The other thing you can do, here's other comments here. See, it's gray. The color shows you that it's commented out. You can just write, see if I start typing, it shows up like that, but then I comment it out like that. So a good practice is to say what your functions are doing. All right, this click function is when someone clicks on a number, it saves the number to do the math. Okay. So, write that in, because when you come back to this project in 3 years, because you want to use it as part of another project, you won't want to figure this all out again. What was I doing there? What does that do? You can just read what it does. Okay, now this is how we did click functions before. But then we use this little shortcut here, right, with the JavaScript. So we can use a shortcut for clicking as well. And that's what I did here. All right, I defined number as, this is class of number, right? We gave every number a class of number. So when any number, right, when number is clicked on, anything with the class numbers clicked on, so we write like this, on parentheses, in quotation marks, click, comma, function, always has these parentheses there, and then a curly bracket encloses the function. And then this parentheses, see how it underlines both ones so you can see where they're paired up? This is closing the on thing there. Okay, so these on click things like this, these functions with the jQuery, they close with a curly bracket, a parentheses, and then you can put your semicolon. Okay, so this is how you do it. So when you click on something with a class number, we want you to do this, and inside the curly brackets is what we want it to do. Now, how does it know what to use, right? Now, with the operators, we could just say, well, if they clicked on plus, then it's plus, right? That was easy. But if we click on 1, we can't just say, make the variable the first number, num1 for first number, make the first number 1. We can't say that because we don't know that they're even using the number 1, let alone that they pushed it first. So we're going to use something super, super handy called this, okay? So we have a new variable here. Variable number pressed equals, this is a jQuery shortcut little term here, $ parentheses and the word this, close the parentheses, HTML. So whatever is in this HTML, we're going to get that, and then we're going to write it on the screen. So what we did last time, right? To the screen, append, tack it on instead of replacing what's there, number pressed. And the number pressed is whatever is in the HTML of this. So on our index, we had all the numbers written in there, and I went ahead and just deleted. We can get rid of these IDs. Now, we could do something like this, get the ID of it, and then take the last, take the number off the end of that string there, off the end of the ID, take that number, and then that's our number we're going to use, but that's more complicated. So here's a change we're making. We're going to take out all those IDs, and we're just going to grab the HTML. Okay, so var number pressed variable, we're going to create a variable. Whenever we first use a variable, we define it with var for variable, and then we can just use it after that without defining it. So number pressed equals this HTML, the HTML that's in this, whatever we clicked on, right? Just like here, we're getting that part of the HTML, right? And then we're going to write it on. We can just use the variable, right? Number pressed onto the screen. And I commented out all of those things we wrote last time. The write 1, append 1, write 2, append 2. We can just get rid of all that and replace it with this little code. Now I said to you, if you're copying and pasting a lot, there's probably a simpler, a shorter code. Sometimes it's not simpler if you don't know what the code is or how to do it, and it's easier to copy and paste. But if you're copy and pasting the same code over and over again, there's probably a shortcut way to do that. So 2 plus, so it works, right? So it's getting 2 from this. It's not using this thing down here anymore. It's not using, if I clicked on 2, it's using this to grab that 2 there. Okay?